Hello, good morning. Welcome to the video. I'm Melissa, I write books. It is Tuesday the 18th today, and it's literally 12:01 p.m. and I have a very busy, kind of video heavy day today. Usually I would say my like personal work is more writing related, but a few days ago I filmed a Q&A and I want that to go up tomorrow, so that's probably a video before this, two before this, maybe, I don't know. And but I still want to have a vlog for each day. My plan is kind of that I will be done daily vlogging like 4 days before the end of November, and then the last video of November can kind of be a multi-day vlog just to spice it up a little bit. But that means that today I need to edit the Q&A, but then I also need to plan to edit the vlog from yesterday and then also this vlog, you know, so it's just a lot of videos. And then also I have my contract work today, which is like another video that I need to edit. That's not my job, which is also video editing. So I already, like, at work this morning edited 3 videos, and then I'm coming back here over my lunch and editing a Q&A. And then after work, I'll edit more. Then I'll edit the contract work, because I just want to like get it done right away and not let it sit for a while, because I tend to do that sometimes and then it just like becomes, I'd just rather do it the day of. And then I think tomorrow my plan is to edit 2 vlogs, so then I can be just like really ahead. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. But anyway, you're here for writing content, which is also funny that I chose to do this today because I also have a pretty intense set of chapters to work on today. So I have 12 and 13, no, I'm lying, 13 and 14, which are the last 2 of this specific section. 14 I think is fine. I think I might actually start with 14 first because I think it's less, I might start with 14 because I think there's less things going on in 14, so it'll make me just feel better to get done with 14 and then be able to like spend however much time I have left like really sinking into 13, because it's not a whole overhaul, but like I would say probably 50% of the scene is being replaced or changed in a significant way, whereas most of the chapters I'm changing maybe 15% of it. Like I'm really not out here changing the whole book. I think it might seem that way since there's like a significant edit in each chapter, but up until this point, really there's only been like, I've added a little bit at the end, I've added a little bit at the beginning, I've written a letter, but like now we're getting into 13, 14, 15. I think honestly 13 through 20 have a lot more to do. This is like really where the problem area of the book is. Specifically chapter 15, which I think I'm set like on Thursday I will start working on, I'm writing it from the top down. I'm putting it in a different setting. Basically the same thing happens in it, but it's going to be much more effective. It's going to happen in a different setting. Totally new dialogue, totally new everything in that chapter. So, but we're not thinking about that yet. That is for later. We're not thinking about that yet. And actually we're not even doing any writing right now, to be honest. Let me see how many edits there are in 14. Literally like 3. Why is chapter 14 so long? Oh my gosh. There's like 4 edit, which is a very normal chapter. I could do it in about probably 20 minutes. Maybe I should not. I also feel myself falling down the trap of, oh, I can do it in a really quick period of time. It's like, girl, we're not doing this. We have lots of time to write. I don't need to do 2 chapters today. There's no rush. There's no rush. No rush. First, I'm going to edit the Q&A. And then I'll maybe have a little bit of time for writing. But I think some more of the writing will happen tonight. But I also do need to go to the pool today because I didn't go yesterday because my friends wanted to be social and fun, which is great. Okay, video editing, let's do it. No time to chat.
Opening, closing, all in one day. Blue sky, then violent rain. Feeling the dirt shift, sensing the change. The dog has been shaken outside of a grave. Opening, closing, statements to phrase. Radio channels, curses or praise. News and instruction.
was like, oh, I'll just start with chapter 14 because it'll be super quick. It was not super quick. It just needed a lot of like little things. She even had the comment at the end of the chapter was, this chapter just needs a lot of tightening. Like there's just a lot of like lengthy for some reason, there are more like sentences that have too many words in them in this chapter specifically than any of the other ones. And I think because it's been a chapter that's historically, it's a newer chapter. Newer, I mean like it was in draft 3 that it was added, and I felt really good about the chapter, like the contents of it when I wrote it. And so I think it's one of those chapters that just didn't get a ton of attention during editing because it was solid, it was doing the right thing, which it still is. And so I was adding little things, but also just tightening up a lot of dialogue tag stuff and just in sentences. Like, I'm starting to think I might actually make it through the whole store. How about I might actually make it through the whole store, or I might make it through the whole like, I might make it. All it needs to be. Like, just a lot of those kind of sentences. Anyway, but that's chapter 14. So now I have to go back up to chapter 13, which in my head has a lot more work, but I only have about 20 minutes before I need to go. And so I am going to just like quick start on a few, like I'm going to do a few things that might be fast and then pick it up tonight to finish RIP.
Trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind.
So I'm not going to the pool tonight. I know you're upset. I just ended up getting home later than I thought I was going to, and I want to finish this chapter, but I don't think I'm going to finish this chapter anyway. So I'm on chapter 13. I already did chapter 14. But I'm on chapter 13 and I'm basically rewriting it, which is kind of annoying. But I think I'm almost at a point where I can bridge some of the end because I want the scene to end the same way. And so like, I think I can kind of stitch it together. You know, but I don't really... I'm kind of just tired, you guys. Which is also another reason I'm not going to the pool. I had a very active afternoon, so like there's no reason that I would need to go to the pool in addition to that. But I'm also watching the Dancing with the Stars live stream. I'm having this feeling like I want to take it a little bit easier, like for the rest of the night. Like we just started a 30-minute sprint, Brielle and I. But first I'm gonna watch this dance, sorry. I feel like I'm in my luteal phase. I had a busy day. I feel like I just kind of want to chill out, you know, but for the rest of this sprint, I think I'm going to continue to watch this Dancing with the Stars live stream. And then I'm going to also cut out all the sentences that I know are not staying in this chapter. So I'm essentially going to leave myself, like, I have a first draft of the first half of this new scene. It's not even a new scene. It's just like the same scene, but just completely different, you know, with different characters and conversations in it, which would be a different scene, but I'm not calling it a new scene because then I'll stress. So I'm just going to have this first half that I just wrote and then all of the remaining pieces of conversation and interiority that can stay. That would make sense within the context of the new scene. And then maybe after that, I will stitch it together, or I'll start tomorrow by kind of stitching it together and writing through, because what I'm supposed to do tomorrow is do my big read through of chapters 8 through 14. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than one day. I did my read through of 1 through 7 in one day, but this one I know from Christina's feedback and also just from reading the chapters that I think they're going to require just a bit more tightening and a bit more like solidifying and just tightening than the other section. I don't even know what I was saying. I feel like I'm going crazy. But again, I think I'm going to overall extend my read through into 2 days just to not rush it. Especially this section I know is one of the weaker sections. This section and the next one are like probably the 2 weakest sections of the book. Because those 2 sections are weaker, I don't want to rush through my read through for flow or for tightening, especially since I have some new material in these sections. So I'll just start tomorrow with really bouging up this scene, but I'm gonna get it to a point where it like makes sense right now, and then tomorrow I can make it better. So that's where I'm gonna end us, I think. So I fear I'm just rewriting some things. So let me just paint you a picture, okay? I'm really debating if I can tell you this or not. Let's draw a picture. Let's go over to the whiteboard and draw a picture. What's happening is we're in Danny's debate period. So what happens in the current book is, can you see this? Just don't look at that, okay. Danny gets information about Cal. Danny gets information about Cal that leads her to, this is not a dark enough marker. Danny gets information about Cal, okay? She gets this information and she wants to investigate him. So, in the current version that exists right now, first, she looks him up in the database. And she does this kind of secretly for a reason that does make sense legally, but it doesn't really. Looks him up, casually lying. Like she's not telling her team why she's looking him up, okay? Then I can't tell you this. This does not work, doesn't work. She doesn't get the information that she needs to investigate him. So then she goes through option B, which is another thing that she goes and does to try and get enough evidence to start investigating him, right? She does option B, doesn't work. Then she brings it up to the team, finally. And when she's bringing it up, her thought process, this is where it gets confusing, okay? When she brings it up to the team, she tells them something. Well, so she tells them A, but she really believes B. So she tells them one thing, but she really believes a different thing. So she gives them a reason to investigate him that's not the reason she actually believes, right? Then, but here's the kicker, is that reason B is a good reason. And if the team knew about reason B, the reader would probably deduce like, oh, they would believe her. And she has a reason why she's not telling them thing B, because she thinks if she tells them reason B, they'll think she's delusional. But we don't actually know because she doesn't tell them reason B. She tells them a different reason that is also confusing for the rest of the book, okay? So that's how it currently exists. Then this doesn't work. Telling them this fake thing doesn't work. So then she decides to fake date. That is Danny's debate. This is Danny's debate period, is she gets information about Cal and she's like, I'm suspicious. I want to look into this. So first she looks him up in a database, doesn't get any information that is enough to investigate him. Then she goes and does option B. We'll get into that. And it doesn't work. She doesn't get enough information to investigate him. Then she brings it up to her team. She tells them something that's not this piece of information. She tells them something else. But this is confusing because this is a B. Let's put this as C because of Cal. So we learn C about Cal. She doesn't tell them C. She tells them A, which is a different thing. But if she told them C, the reader might think like, why wouldn't you just tell them what you know about him, right? Why wouldn't you just tell him that? But she's saying, no, they'll think I'm delusional. They don't actually do that, but that's what right? So then this doesn't work. Telling them the fake thing, telling them not the information that she has, telling them something else doesn't work. So then she decides, I'm gonna fake date Cal. That's how we get to the fake dating. So this is like 4 different scenes, okay? This is what needs to happen. I'm going insane. Okay, so instead of doing that, Are you following along? It's like 10 p.m. I was supposed to be at the pool or asleep by now, and here we are, going insane. So now, here's how we're gonna do it instead. Ready? Danny gets, can you see this? Sorry about the ring light. Danny gets C, which is the information about Cal. She gets this information. Then she looks him up casually, and at the same time, because she's a police officer, she's in the police station. I know you can't read this. I'm sorry. I wish you could. Maybe if I turn the light down a little. I feel like it would be more helpful if you could read this. Is that better? Okay, so while she's looking casually in the police station, her team asks her about it. She tells the team C, the information. She tells them the information that in this version she never told them, right? She tells the information to the team kind of reluctantly. She's kind of doesn't really want to, but she does. Then she gets shot down. So this doesn't work. What she's afraid of happening here, them thinking about her as delusional, that actually happens. We see it on the page. She looks him up. She doesn't find anything. And then her team is like, why would we need to look up this guy? And then she tells them this information and they're like, oh, honey, you can't look into that. You're being delusional. You're being emotional. You can't look into that. Then after she's been actually shot down by something, then she does option B, which doesn't give her any answers, but it propels her to investigate more. Because she's been shot down by her team, so one could think like, oh, my team doesn't believe me, I need to just give it up, maybe I'm being delusional, but then she goes and does option B, and she's like, no, I'm not delusional, this is something I need to investigate. So then, she fake dates. This is what the debate is going to become. Essentially what it is removing this scene and combining it with this scene and making this scene happen after that. Does that make any sense to you? No. So just to summarize what's gonna happen, Danny gets this information about Cal. She looks it up. Her team is like, why are you looking that up? And then she tells them, because I found out this information about Cal. And then they're like, oh honey, no, you're being delusional, doesn't work. So then she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna look into this other source that I have to see if he's suspicious. And she doesn't exactly get confirmation, but she gets enough to propel her to be like, no, there's more to the story here. I need to get information. I'm gonna fake date. So essentially it's simplifying the debate from like 1, 2, 3 scenes into 1, 2 scenes. There's also another element to this that I can't really explain without like really giving away a lot of the book. Actually, I think it's in the pitch line, so maybe I could. If you really don't want to hear about it, leave. It's not spoiling the book. I would not be out here about to spoil my whole book for you, but there's 3 things at play in this book. Danny's parents were bank robbers and they're in jail or dead. That's right, okay? Danny's parents are in jail. They're investigating right now in present day, Danny's on a task force to investigate a string of robberies, right? I feel like I need the whiteboard again. We have Danny's parents' operation in jail. We have this, right? We have current day robberies, right? Then we have Cal. A piece of information that Danny learns about Cal potentially ties him to her parents' operation, right? Are you following along? So, what this piece of information that Danny gets, she brings to the team, but she doesn't connect her parents' operation to these robberies. So because of that, she doesn't connect Cal to the current robberies, which is what they're investigating. The team is investigating the current robberies. But when in the current version, she gets this information about Cal and she's like, this is connected to my parents. So then she brings it to the team. When she brings it to the team, she's like, hey, he might be connected to my parents' operation. But nowhere in this time does she connect the current robberies to the parents' operation clearly. Like, she has some inklings towards it, but she doesn't, in the time where she brings it up to the team, she doesn't ever say like, hey, maybe my parents' operation is connected to this. Like, that's not a part of this conversation. And so then what that means is like, she is investigating Cal being connected to her operations, but at the same time, in the same book, she's also happens to be investigating a string of robberies when her parents were famous bank robbers, and she has reason to suspect that Cal is connected to her parents' operation. Like, really? Like, she would make this connection, but she wouldn't connect it to the present day robberies? Like, really? But the thing is, in the book she does, but she doesn't make the clear connection of like, okay, Cal's connected to them, this is probably connected to the robberies. There does come a point later where she connects Cal to the robberies and the parents. So instead, what I'm gonna do is when Danny receives this information about Cal, her first thought is going to be, wait a minute, if my parents' operation is still around, that probably means it's connected to the current day robberies, because I'm gonna add it in, and I think it already sort of is there, that Danny has always been suspicious of this. Danny has been suspicious that the current day robberies they're working on are connected to her parents' case. But before Cal information, she had no reason to believe that her parents' operation was active because her parents have been in jail. So this information that she learns, she's like, oh, Cal's connected to my parents, and this is happening in current day at the same time as these robberies, so this is probably connected too. So now, when she brings it up to the team in this meeting, she's connecting Cal to the current day robberies through her parents' operation. She's saying, look, Cal has this connection to my parents, and we're investigating these robberies, so it's possible that Cal being connected to my parents, and like that being active right now means that the current day robberies are connected to my parents, and that would mean that Cal is connected to the current day robberies. Right? Do you see? So instead of it being like, he's connected to this and maybe that, now it's like in her thought process, in her debate, she is bringing to the team. She's saying, hey, team of police officers that I work with, I think this is a connection between Cal and my parents. And because we're working on this string of robberies, I think it's reasonable to believe that Cal being connected to my parents in the present day means that my parents are connected to this string of robberies that's very similar to my parents' operation, right? And then the team saying, no, Danny, you're wrong, you're being emotional, you're connecting this all where there isn't anything. Then it's like, oh, damn. Right? She's saying, oh, damn, they don't believe me, but I think this is true. And option B I was talking about earlier, that she does after getting shut down, confirms this for her. So then we know, going into the debate, or post-debate, that Danny has put all of this together. So as Danny is fake dating Cal, she's thinking, he's connected to my operation, and he's connected to the current day robberies because they're all one. I'm not saying if this is true or not, but this is now isn't it super clear? This is now Danny's current thought process as she's fake dating Cal. And do you want to know the craziest part of all of this is that that's how the book is written already after the debate. The debate right now is kind of a shit show, pardon my language, but once we get into the actual fake dating, this is what Danny's interiority is. Danny is connecting all of this in her interiority in Act 2 to the rest of the book. But in her debate, she's not connecting any of that. She's like, well, he's connected to my parents, but that's probably not connected to anything else. Like, she's like, I need to stop. And it's not even that she's thinking anything bad. It's just confusing. What she's thinking is just confusing for everyone. And it's so much clearer if it's, okay, I found out this piece of information about Cal. So just to bring us back. I found out this information about Cal. That's suspicious. It connects him to my parents' case. Huh. we're also working on a string of robberies. So the minute I hear, oh, Cal's connected to my parents' case, that is probably connected to this because she'd already been suspicious that it was connected to her parents anyway, but she didn't have any evidence, right? So then she brings it to her team and they say, no, Danny, you're being stupid and an emotional woman, right? And so she's like, well, damn. And so then she's like, well, I'm gonna try this other method to see if maybe he is involved. She goes there, she gets confirmation. Okay, something suspicious is going on. I need to look more into this. I'm gonna fake date this man. Isn't that so much clearer of a debate? Instead of like, I found out this information, I looked him up, I didn't find anything. I'm gonna go do this random thing that's maybe suspicious, and then I'm not gonna tell my team the piece of information that I got. I'm gonna tell them that he's just suspicious generally, and then they're not gonna believe me, but they're not gonna believe me on the basis of some information that's not even real. So I figured it out. I feel solid about what's going on. The problem is, this book is in draft 10. This book is in draft 10. It's not one of those changes that really changes the rest of the book. It really just solidifies and condenses and closes down the debate and makes it so much clearer what the hell is going on, right? So what I essentially need to do is take this chapter which is chapter 14. It's 13. I need to take chapter 13 and combine chapter 13 with chapter 11. Should we get the whiteboard out again? Yeah, I think we should. I know you're excited about the whiteboard. This has been the last hour of my life, by the way. Let's pull out my Notion here. Chapter 8, Danny gets information. Chapter 9 is a Cal chapter, so it doesn't matter. No, right? Chapter 10 is when she looks him up. This is as it currently is. Chapter 11 is her doing option B, and chapter 12 is Cal, so it doesn't matter. Cal has his own debate going on that's a lot clearer than this mess. Then chapter 13 is team shuts her down based on fake information, right? Essentially what I need to do is combine chapter 10 and 13. I need to combine this. So I need to move all the relevant information of this into chapter 10. So I fear I just need to write it again. Like I just need to write it from scratch, because if I try to, I think I will just confuse myself if I try to keep this. So I think what my plan is, is I'm going to go through chapters 10 and 13, which are the two chapters I'm now combining to be chapter 10, and I'm deleting and I'm like moving around the order. I'm gonna write down, I'm gonna like make a document that's like, here's all of the pieces from this chapter that could be helpful. Like description, like there's this whole, when she looks up Cal, she gets information about him that I think is good. So I'll take any paragraphs that are not interiority that is confusing and put them all in a document so that I have them. And then I think I'm just gonna write this scene from scratch, this scene where she's looking him up and then the team comes in and is like, hey, what are you looking at? And she's like, there's this connection to my parents and I think it could be connected to this crime spree. And they're gonna be like, oh honey. And I just need to write it again, potentially. So just a little change of plans is that is what I will be working on now tomorrow. And I think it's really gonna streamline and clarify and make the end of Act 1 into the beginning, because I think that's part of what's bogging this section down, is it's like really confusing what everybody knows and what everybody believes. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's 10 o'clock. When I didn't go to the pool at 8, I was like, I'm gonna take it easy and have a chill night. Instead, I wouldn't call it blowing a hole in my book. I really would not call it that at all. I would say it's just clarifying and streamlining the debate of the book to be more clear and more accurate. Thank you so much for being here. Comment down below a whiteboard marker. Does that? I don't know. Okay. I'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.
The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, welcome of the dawn.